So they wasn't fans of that whole thing.
No, they weren't fans of it. Only because if it's not benefiting the school, if it's not benefiting the district, then they don't want you to do it. Feeding their kid wasn't benefiting the school.
Right.
It wasn't benefiting the district. And they looked at it as more of a liability. But now when you go out and you spend all your money on school supplies,
that's all good.
All your money, it's all good. It's all good then because they don't have to come out their pocket to do anything. So it's kind of a little jacked up, but hey, it is what it is.
See, I knew it was something special about this thing from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I stuck with it. Telling the truth, there's a certain level of pride that comes with this. So we gon' finish strong, proud, and resilient. This is muddy water. We keep it moving through the muddy water. Swerving hard through the muddy water. With a cup full of muddy water. Jumping out the muddy water. Pumping out the muddy water. We build bricks with this muddy water. Put them filters down, this is raw and uncut. And ain't no chaser with this mud, just straight to the good. I say we going live, he say nigga what's up. I say we getting high, he say nigga roll up. Another topic of discussion, a conversation piece. Monumental black boom born out of necessity. Now put them cups up, make a toast and feed on this recipe. Wise words, this is poor righteous teaching from a rich type feature, adding wealth to my.
It is what it is. Wow. I didn't have the help or the backup from the principal. I had a special ed class the last year I was at Greer. I had a special needs class, special ed. And a lot of these kids, it wasn't but like 7 of them. And they needed the attention. The kids, they were kids. Just a little different than other kids, but they were kids.
Right.
And, but they couldn't, like if we was to have a pet rally, the kids couldn't join the pet rally. Those kids couldn't join. Or
couldn't even be there?
Huh?
Couldn't even be there?
Nope, they would not let us participate because they were saying that, okay, well, your kids with special needs, they, at any time they have if they act out or have an episode, which they did have some episodes. But, you're still not treating them human. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go into a grocery store. If I'm a special needs person, I can still go into that grocery store. Even though I might act out, I can still go into that grocery store. You're trying to teach kids how to live into this world, but you're not teaching them that if you're secluding them from things that they cannot do. And so we couldn't go to pet rallies. I had 2 8th graders that couldn't go on the 8th grade field trip, and it was just, it was kind of messed up. They kind of kept us, where my classrooms is, it was 2 other classrooms too, and where our classrooms are, they were on the side that it was an ISS classroom, then it was an arts classroom, and then it was our classroom. So we wasn't on the side where all of the other kids were. So once again, not only can we not go to all these school functions, now you just secluded us, you know what I'm saying? You just kept us out. So it really made things, bad for the kids. And they were frustrated, and if you have kids that are frustrated.
So they showed that? They peeped that whole thing?
With the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got a lighter?
Yeah. But yeah, they did. They did. And kids are a lot smarter than you think they are. Right. And even with these kids, being special needs kids, they
who we talking like autism and stuff?
Yep. I had 2 autistic kids. I had 2 of them that lived in group homes, so they just had more of a social behavior issue. Then I had 2 that had Down syndrome. And then, well, I had 3 autistics. And then one of the other ones that had a behavior problem, he was in and out. So he wasn't always in the classroom, but when he came to the classroom, he had some difficulties, at first, but after a while, they kind of got better, because he started trusting.
Oh, I was going to say too, your haircut look nice.
I do not. I don't know who my barber is, but
Alright, see what we're gonna do right here. There we go. So y'all wanna still shoot some shit. But you were talking about kid?
Yeah. Oh, but other than that was pretty much about it. With the kids in the system, I actually honestly thought about going back to the school system. If I do go, it won't be Gaston County. It would not be Gaston County. Actually, hi Chris. I actually had a couple of opportunities, like Ashby, a couple of opportunities to be able to go back, but I'm not
Trying to say the word.
not in Gaston County. Because they don't treat their teachers right.
I thought that was all over the country.
Huh?
That's not all over the country?
You have some counties, you have some states that actually teach not teach, but they actually
Treat them right?
they treat them right. They treat them a lot better. My friend actually, I have a friend that used to teach in Madison County, and she moved actually to Clover. And in Clover, she actually, she's getting paid more, a little more benefits. You just make sure you cut my eyebrows after this. But they just teach. No, they treat them differently. They treat them a lot better. And now overall, I still think overall the teachers are not getting treated better. But for the most part, they treat them better than what they does. There's a lot of teachers that left Ashbrook to go, to teach in South Carolina just because of the benefits. I will not go back to Gaston County.
What you think is what's your opinion of the state of the kids? Like,
Huh?
you hopeful for the kids?
Am I hopeful for it? Oh, yeah.
You think the kids alright? Kids gonna be alright?
You know what? I think they are going to be all right. Can they be better? Yes. Can the system in general be better? Yes. You have a lot of people that make decisions, about the curriculum and stuff are not the ones that are in a classroom. They're not the ones that have never been in a classroom. So they making decisions based off of what they think, or what seems logical.
Like the school board, shit like that?
Yeah, you have some people in the school board that does that. Even in government, when they did that nationwide, no kids left behind. You know how many kids are still left behind? And it was one of them things where the no kid left behind, it was supposed to be where, let's say I lived in Texas and I moved from Texas to North Carolina. I'm supposed to be able to pick up where I left off, and in that case, it's not true. I might live in North Carolina and move to Texas, and guess what? I'm a lot further behind because the way Texas and the school system is and the way the curriculums are, they're still moving at a faster pace than North Carolina, so that whole no kid left behind and you're supposed to be able to, well, we can be able to catch him up and do all of this other stuff. They're still not catching up, and then you have kids, okay, well, yeah, the state says, well, it seems logical, well, it seems like you can, the ratio, you have kids or teachers that will have 20, 25, 30 kids in their classroom because they're packing them in here like that, and to the state's eyes, it's like, oh, well, you'll be okay. You're just teaching them, so you'll be okay. But then that's not the case, because then when you're in there and you're teaching them and then you do have somebody that's falling behind, I can't stop and catch you up. I can't. I have to keep pushing. If you don't catch up, then, okay, well, maybe we can try to do some after school work. Or maybe I can try to give you a little extra to take home. But then now, if I give you something to take home, then now I have to rely on your parents. And a lot of times, teachers are babysitters. Parents do not actually take their time to sit and discuss kids' grades, discuss what happened in the classroom, discuss what happened in school. It's just like, okay, well, now you're home. Now you got, it's time to do some homework. It's time to do stuff around the house and keep on pushing. So a lot of those people don't take that initiative to be in their children's life. And then you can't, like, if you was to stay at home, if you stay after school, you don't get paid for staying at school. And then
it's all salary.
Huh?
Because it's all salary.
And so then you can only stay after school for a certain amount of time. And then, like it was at Greer, where every teacher, every day after school, if we were not on bus duty or car duty, we were sitting in the library, in the media room, getting ready to have a meeting and talk about what was going on, for that day and what we got, planned for tomorrow. Which, in actuality, I could have took that time, that hour and a half that we're sitting here, that hour that we're sitting here, I could have took that time and been sitting out, after school with some kids, trying to catch them up.
So teachers not allowed to kind of do it how they feel comfortable doing it. It's all strictly by the. Yeah. It really is. It's strictly by what we telling you to do. You can't. All of this teaching, like teachers are teachers. We don't get to put together. Back then, you had teachers that would sit and they would put together a actual lesson plan. Right. The best way to go about teaching them. Right. Now it's like you have this outline, and within the month, you have to have all of this done within the month. You know what I'm saying? Right. So day by day, you have to follow that outline. I can't stop for 2 seconds and be an actual teacher and with my creative mind. Right. I can't stop and do that. I have to keep pushing because now you have EOGs. And so I have to make sure all these kids know what is on the EOGs before they get here. So. Y'all can cut me off the side and I'm talking about Talking about the technical time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I was telling you about that app with that Virginia pepperweed. Remember I was telling you I had that app where I was just taking pictures of plants, and I found out about the Virginia pepperweed.
What the plant meat? Plant meat?
Yeah, well, it's called Picture This.
Oh, Picture This?
Yeah, Picture This. And you can pay for Picture This, but I don't pay for it. But it's really good.
What you mean? So will it work without paying for it?
Yeah. It's just to get premium.
Yeah, I don't need premium.
Yeah, no, I don't need premium either, so. But in all honesty, it's a really good app. I was showing Sanchez yesterday, actually, when I was pulling up some weeds outside. I love being outside, like love it. And I was showing Sanchez pulling up some weeds, and I was like, I wonder what this is. So I took a picture of it, and it was called a Virginia pepperweed. And so I was looking up Virginia pepperweed and some of the good and bad things about it, and it's edible, and it is used to cure like some of the rheumatoid arthritis pains. What else did it say? Diabetes, detoxing, the vitamin C, vitamin something deficiencies. So I mean, it's really really good. I hadn't tried it yet, but you can saute it, you can eat it raw.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you said the name of it was what? Pepperweed.
It's Virginia pepperweed.
Virginia pepperweed.
Mm-hmm.
What is Virginia pepperweed used in?
According to Florida Wildflower Foundation, the young leaves, which contain protein and vitamins A and C, can be added to salads or sautéed. The seeds can be used as a substitute for black pepper.
See, I'm trying to see if it's used in any type of medication. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you using that? If it's got the benefits that it you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then why aren't you using these you want to call weeds?
Right. Well, it says they have been used to treat vitamin C deficiency and diabetes, but
when?
But
how long ago?
I don't know. I'm actually pulling up to see. Are they using it now?
It says anti-asthmatic.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps with asthma.
Mm-hmm.
Pepperweed is good for coughs, asthma, accompanied with phlegm, swelling, problem with production of. I gotta press on.
Shit, they trying to charge me.
Oh no, you hit the X. They're trying to charge you, yeah. Like so, when you let me
got a trial period.
Yeah, but then you don't have to do all of that. See,
Is Virginia pepperweed
like after
medication today?
it'll come up. It's once it come up with the trial, you just skip past it, and then you can hit the X at the top, and then you can just use it.
Okay. There you go. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
And it says it expels intestinal worms.
Yeah, but yeah.
There you have it.
But why are they not using it?
Because I want you to die, nigga. What you mean?
Man, come on. I mean,
Man, come on, what?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
A whole lot more
Feel
complicated.
God for managing.
I wouldn't say that they want you to. Well, you know what? I mean, I wouldn't say that they want you to die.
You wouldn't.
But no, I wouldn't. But I would say that
They want you to be
they
sick.
want you to rely on them a lot more. That's how doctors make their money.
Struggle,
I mean, if you die,
till death.
then
So what you call that long term?
I mean, but if you die, then they can't make their money. But they want you to depend on them. You know, if you out here doing all of this stuff, like if everybody was out here doing exactly what they used to do back in the day. Once again, we can go back to talking about the doctors, how, it wasn't, the doctors made house visits because people didn't have to go to the doctor all the time because they did so much, natural stuff on their own.
Right.
So the doctor might have a doctor's, office at his house or something, but it wasn't like they had a special office, for them, and people were sitting out in the waiting room waiting on the doctor.
Like schedules, like
Right.
every 6 months, every whatever.
Right.
every
I mean,
3 months.
you go to the doctor tomorrow and you in the waiting room for 3-4 hours,
Right.
Well, from the time you step in and to the time you leave, it's going to take about 2 hours to see the doctor.
Right.
You know, back then when people were doing these home remedies and doing their own things, the doctors, they could make house calls because people were doing this stuff on their own.
They probably were more trustworthy like that.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't say that they want you to die, but I say if they want you to be able to depend on them.
So
And a lot of times they actually, all of this new medication that they're giving you to treat one thing is causing other problems. And
they want to keep you struggling.
So they want to keep you struggling. How else you think they're going to make their money? They can't make their money.
I mean, doctors existed before this whole thing. And
They
money.
did, but they wasn't living in you know, mansions and driving, you know what I'm saying, Ferraris and stuff. They were average people.
So what about the herbalists? Like, don't they deserve to make money?
Yeah. But if I can go out and step out here and pick this on my own and, you know, and get healthy, why do I have to pay somebody else to do that for me?
I mean, you need people to kind of lead you in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think it all boiled down to the intent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, like, it's just crazy that we say, what about the doctor? How they supposed to make their money? What other industry is that the attitude? People, there's an industry because there's a need. You can't put the industry before the need.
All right, it's always a need. It's like you're going to need a doctor. I'm not saying that you're never going to need a doctor. You're always going to need a doctor, you know, because they specialize in a lot of other things that we don't know about, you know. I don't know everything about the human body because I didn't study it. So if something's going on and I have a fever or something, you know, then I want to figure out what's going on, why I have this fever. You know what I'm saying? So you're always going to have a need for a doctor. But it is people are money hungry. That's what it boils down to. If you don't have the funds to do this, or you don't have the funds to do that.
I mean, that would be true if there was only a few doctors who did it. But if the system is, you know, designed that way, it's deeper than just greed.
Okay, what do you mean?
If there was a few doctors who was overcharging or making people sick just so they could come back, then it would be a thing of, well, these people are greedy. But the whole system involved.
But the sad thing is it's not the doctors that are making these. I mean, the doctors prescribe you this medication, but it's the pharmaceuticals. It's the government. The government owns the pharmaceutical, the FDA. You know, the FDA. If I was to say, okay, these clovers right here can cure cancer, I have to go through the FDA in order to get that approved. The FDA makes those decisions. So, yeah, I say it still is doctors out here that they still need you to come back to them. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it's the system in general.
But what if the doctors or the pharmaceutical companies are they're actually using these natural things, but adding their own little preservatives and chemicals in with it. So it is approved. It's actually approved. It's just they adding bull crap to it. That makes sense?
Yeah, I mean these people are scientists. You know.
They what?
These people are scientists. You know.
I thought you was gonna say psychopaths.
Well, some of them out there too, but these people are scientists.
No, they ain't.
So I mean, of course they're going to add their own. And the sad thing is
But that's
a lot of the medication.
The bad part.
But a lot of the medication that they bring into the FDA probably already has all of those different type of acids in it. You know, the FDA just looks at that and says, okay, well, this acid's not going to kill him, so yeah, you can use it.
Yeah, it ain't going to kill him, but it's going to hurt something else. Like you said earlier, it's going to...
Yeah, what can cure the common cold, you know, you take this and you won't be coughing anymore, but you're going to have a headache for 4 days.
So
and so you got to now take some Tylenol for headache, but then you take Tylenol too many times, and guess what? Your kidneys are going to fail.
So why not just use it naturally instead of adding all this other stuff? That's my problem. Because I got a guy right now, he just found the alfalfa leaf for me, and he done already made capsules for me. He done capsuled them up, put them in capsules and everything. Natural. No added preservative, no this, no that. Just straight powder form capsules.
But you know what I fear about that though is we're talking about doing all this natural stuff, and you know, I fear that people, I think it's us too, you know what I'm saying? And I say that because we as people get scared, but we don't want to die, so we overbuy stuff, you know, which once we start overbuying stuff, then they have to, once again, we talked about it yesterday, talking about the sea moss, you know, talking about, oh, well, you know, now you got these people buying sea moss, and so now they're going to have to start mass producing it. And so when you mass produce it, it no longer becomes natural, because you're going to have to add some stuff in it to keep it growing really quickly.
They already doing it. Yeah, okay, they already doing that, though.
Right.
That's what they already doing.
But if we as people start doing stuff on our own, going out here, like me and Riley talked about, you know, going out here, you picking all these plants, and you doing it on your own.
Well,
right, on your own.
That's a problem.
Then it shouldn't be a problem.
But it is. That's the problem. It's a problem because they not making money because you're not having to come to them.
Right. I mean, once again, it's still a need. It's still gonna always be a need for a doctor, but it's just not gonna be.
For what? A broken ankle?
Okay.
That's all I can see for it at this point is a broken ankle, a broken toe, a broken finger.
Yeah, they could fix shit. They just.
But it's all as far as all this, these viruses and stuff, and worms and parasites. Seem like we got it right here on the earth.
Yeah, but speaking on viruses, we talked about that when COVID hit. Remember how they talked about how that was on the can of Lysol before COVID even hit. You know, they are creating things to make people, you know, sick.
What you think about that COVID thing?
Like, what do you mean? What I think about it?
Just the whole thing. Like, what was your impression those couple 3 years?
COVID has really upturned my family.
What?
Really upturned my family. We actually had like 6 people die all within 6 months of COVID. My mama, my uncles, my grandmother, my sister, and they are. I talked to somebody about this before, and they had an intake of where they felt like, you know, the population was getting too much, and so, you know, scientists create stuff to kind of kill off half of the population, and almost like Thanos when he snapped his fingers so you can kill off half of the population, and so that way you won't be over, you know, like they having to mass produce all of this stuff, you know. It is almost like I'm going to balance out the world when I snap my fingers. You know, they almost had that Thanos thought. And the funny thing is that actually came out, you know. and of course COVID was here, but that's
Damn, I ain't think about it like that.
So what you think about that? Him comparing it to COVID to Thanos.
I didn't think about that.
But it
That
did.
movie did come out
Right, it did, and
like a year before that.
right, but if you think about it, you honestly think about it, you know, Thanos snapped his fingers, and what was the reason why he snapped his fingers? And so he could end, you know, if he take away half of the population, then this half can start striving and growing a little better. You know what I'm saying? He felt like all these worlds were overpopulated. You know, and so if I can just take away half of them, and then that way this half, consider yourselves lucky because now you can strive and you can, you know, we're ending poverty, we're ending this, we're ending that. You know what I'm saying?
So what you think about that?
And
You think it's justified?
do I think it's justified?
Yeah.
Yay and nay.
All right.
You know,
Give me the yay.
I feel like this world is overpopulated.
You feel that?
I do. I say I feel like it's overpopulated is because the economy can't keep up with the amount of people they have in this world. Every day you have people, you know, hospitals, they're delivering babies every day, you know, and to a point where you have more babies coming into the world.
Niggas dying every day too.
Yeah, but you have more people coming into the world. I feel like you got more babies coming in before you got more. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. You're right. People are dying every day. They are dying every day. But then you have more people coming into the world. You have kids having kids. You know, I remember being at Sherwood. I had a 5th grader that was at the end of the school year. She was pregnant.
That's crazy.
And was in the 5th grade. And so you do have.
No, that's what.
Huh?
How old was it? 10? Damn.
Yeah. Well, she was 11. But yeah.
Wow.
But you have people, you know, they're making babies left and right. You know what I'm saying?
So they just need to kill a few million people?
I wouldn't say, no, I wouldn't, I don't, and that's why I say the nay, because then I don't feel like killing off people is the right thing to do. You know?
Okay, so let's go back to the whole thing.
What's the right thing?
So, so you said somebody said that to you, made that comparison.
Mm-hmm.
After experiencing COVID, what you think? You think he's right or wrong? You think he on to something or he crazy as fuck?
No, I honestly think he can be on to something. I mean, in all honesty, I kind of felt that way, knowing what I've been through and then actually looking and seeing the amount of people that died. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a lot of people. You know, more people died than coming into the world. You know, so yeah, I do. Some part of me actually, yeah, kind of believe a little bit of that. You know, if that wasn't the case, then, you know, that actually seen on the news where it's a new strain of COVID in China.
Right now?
And how the scientist was once again in the lab. If they didn't, they wouldn't be out here experimenting with all of this stuff if they didn't have a reason to. You know, what is the reason to bring COVID into?
What you mean bring it into? What you mean?
Like create
they
it.
Created it?
Yeah.
You think they created it?
Yeah.
The virus itself?
Yeah.
What? To do what? To kill people?
Yeah, I can actually see that. Yes.
Oh.
I honestly can actually see that. But yes, they did create it.
So
you know, you create a virus. You might catch a bacteria, you know, because that's all I can get a cut right now and go touch this, and all the little parasites get in here and I got an infection. You know what I'm saying? It's a bacterial infection. that's not anything that was created.
Right.
You know, but a virus is created.
What about the vaccine?
Did you get the vaccine? I got
No.
the vaccine. Why you didn't?
So what's your opinion? Before I answer that, what's your opinion?
On getting the vaccine?
The vaccine itself.
Well, once again, that goes back to how I feel about they creating things and then creating a medication.
Solution.
Right.
Right.
And it's not so much of it didn't solve, because people still got COVID after that. It just wasn't as extreme, And so it was all right, well, we probably killed off enough people. Now let's give them the vaccine so we can now kind of level it out so won't nobody else die. But in all honesty, though, people were still catching it. They honestly, they wasn't dying, but they made money off of this too. But I got it because I felt like I seen personally the effect of COVID, and I am high risk. So I was like, I don't want to leave my kids like I seen my sister leave her kids. Even if I was on the fence at first about the vaccine because I seen a lot of, ups and downs with it, and how they were just kind of testing it out and still, but at the end of the day, I have to still be here for my family.
So what were the ups and downs you saw that you had to...
Well, you gotta answer my question.
Oh, okay. What was your question?
I still say why you didn't get the vaccine.
Oh, that's just bullshit, in my opinion.
Do you feel like it was a bad thing that you didn't get it?
No.
Are you scared that COVID has not had to win anywhere, and
COVID ain't went nowhere. What that mean?
It's still here, and I actually
you don't have to wear masks.
Pulled up no, you don't.
Why you think
I pulled up my my Walgreens app because people are still getting it. People are still getting COVID. People are still dying from COVID. It's just because you have a lot of people that have the vaccine, and so they feel like it's okay, that they can be lifted. In certain places, I'll still wear a mask. Certain places I don't, but if it's an overpopulated place, then yeah, I wear a mask because people are still getting COVID. My sister just last week had COVID.
You watch the news?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of news you watch?
I pretty much watch any of them. My TV every morning stays on Channel 9 or Channel 3. Channel 3. And then of course I go into the Good Morning America, whatever that one is, and then sometimes I turn it over to CNN, or a lot of times I get on my phone and scroll and look at some of the CNN actually does really good with on the internet, but I kind of scroll on my phone and see a lot of the different news things. So I keep up with the news.
Yeah, it might be the difference. Maybe I don't keep up with the news to see all that stuff.
So you feel like you're pretty much fortunate that you survived the whole thing?
I won't say.
And I don't mean to I ain't trying to sound insensitive.
No, I don't want to say fortunate. But I honestly don't think I was fortunate. Yeah, I might have survived, but the amount of people that I lost, and the people that I lost that was closest to me, I can't say that I am fortunate. That was painful. And sometimes,
You kind of feel guilty that you made it and they didn't.
Yay and nay. I mean, I don't feel guilty that they didn't make it because I mean, my mom, she's no longer suffering, you know. But sometimes survival hurts.
Oh yeah.
Especially it hurts when you
People close to you then.
yes, and then it wouldn't feel as bad if it was just my mom that you know, and then maybe 2 years down, then it was my grandmother, or then it was my sister. You know, it was like within these 6 months, all of these people are gone. So, and then to watch my niece and nephew being 18 and 15 at the time, you know, they just lost their mother. You know, so no, I don't feel fortunate because survival hurts.
So how does
But in the same token, I do feel blessed because I am still here amongst the living to be with my children.
and your niece and nephew?
Right.
So how does it make you feel? I don't know if I can say knowing, but thinking that the virus was created and that's what took them out.
It's a lot of stuff that was created. And it's a lot of stuff that took people out. I think my thoughts on it is a little different because of the people that it took away from me. Let me take that back because I still would have a negative thought about the virus, but it wouldn't be as harsh because it took those people. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, my grandmother, you know, talk about my grandmother all the time. My grandmother lived to be 101. She was doggone 2 weeks away from being 102. You know, and some of the stuff that she survived, you know, she survived the whole monkeypox.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know, the yellow fever, whatever it was, you know, she survived all of that, you know, to get to this point and to die from COVID. Now, I had a little negative impact because I was like, oh, well, they took my grandmother. But then she was almost 102. You know, she was ready. You know, she was ready.
You think our generation gonna live to 102?
No,
Why?
honestly don't. And we talked about that yesterday too. How that lady was talking about her grandmother was 89 and 90, and we was like, we think now that's 89 and 90 is old. Yeah. You know, and people were living because once again they were doing their own, you know, home remedy stuff. They were living, and that's proof even in the Bible. That's proof in the Bible that these people live to be 150, 160.
And I know it's hard to talk about this. I'm for real, because I know your family. So I know it's hard to talk about.
Right.
But considering they took all that stuff from her, could she still be here if they wouldn't have?
She
see what I'm saying?
She probably would still be here, but
if they wouldn't have took all that stuff from her, because I'm sure Miss Russell probably touched some turpentine in her day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but you know what?
But then they took it all from her.
It's because, but she was lonely, and when she said this to me, and I literally had to sit and think about some of the things that she would say to me, and she said, "I'm lonely," and I said, "Well, Mama, why are you lonely? We're here. You're never here by yourself. You know, we come over. You know, Mama's here. Aunt Deanie's here. Why are you lonely? You're never here by yourself." But then she said that she's the only one in her era that is still here. you know, and she was ready to go. She was ready to
talk
go.
to nobody that can relate.
That would
age,
relate or understood. So she was ready to go. And so we sometimes be selfish, you know, because we want them here. But if she's ready to go, I can't be mad at her for being ready to go. And I had to sit back and look and say, well, you know what? I'm almost glad that she's not here. And that might sound weird, but it took me a while to be able to say that. It's because now she's in a better place. Now she don't feel lonely. You know, now she feels good because I know she had some body aches. I know she did. You know, she had a hard time getting around, but she got around. You know, Mama got around.
And had her and was in her right mind.
And every Sunday getting up and getting ready for church.
Because every time she seen me, she knew who I was.
In her right mind. Yes. But you know, it was hard for my grandmother at 90 years old when we made her stop cutting grass. At 90 years old.
Wow.
We had to make her stop cutting grass because she fell one day. So we had to stop making her, you know, cut grass. But then when she can't do some of the things that she wants to still be able to do, and then when the people that can or could relate to her are no longer here, then yeah, she do feel it.
So let me ask you this: how much of the old remedies did she still continue to? Do you know of any that she can still continue to do?
To do, yeah. She when she would get a cough, she would go and you know, she even did it for the boys when they were younger. But when she would get a cough, she would go and boil an onion, and she even taught like my mama and my auntie to do the same thing. But she would boil an onion and then would take the juice off an onion and put it in a pot while it was still hot, add her lemon, and would add some garlic and would add some ginger.
And it worked. That's all I'm saying.
And she would still do that. You know, and
get all that phlegm up.
Yep. And like we were grown. We were like 20, 25, you know, 30, going over to her house, and she's still telling me to go outside and pull up the camel's, you know, root, chew on it.
You still do it?
Now, because I don't have any, you know, but if I did, I would. But that's why.
You don't boil the onion and do that no more?
I have.
It works?
I have. Yeah, it works. I have.
This is
You
crazy.
think the old time remedies would have worked for COVID?
No.
What?
This I'm tearing off the paper. No, I don't think it would have worked because it wasn't a natural.
What, the virus?
Disease, right? It wasn't something that they caught way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't natural. It was made in the lab. And so I don't think you can cure something that's made in the lab. I feel like if it's made in the lab, then the only thing that can cure it is something that's made in the lab.
That don't sound crazy to you?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying what you just said.
No, it's crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy that we at that point. Yeah, it's crazy. But it don't sound crazy to say that that you can't cure nothing, you know, natural if you didn't get it naturally.
So COVID is indestructible.
Unless you got something that didn't make it a lab to fight it.
Unless you got something that what?
That they made in the lab to fight it.
What's,
I don't agree with none of that.
What is that though?
You don't agree with it?
That's the part. Like, what's
so
that?
Okay, so what's your intake on why wouldn't you agree that
I never
it's
caught
kid?
COVID. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what COVID is. Yeah. So.
But how do you? So you don't feel like if you felt like if you caught COVID that you could go out and cure COVID with natural stuff?
Yeah. That's why we don't use them no more. So that's not an option.
Well, I mean, let's not say cure.
No,
How about just fight COVID? Not, man, I ain't gonna say cure. I can't say cure. I'll say fight it. But cure, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, okay, let me all right, so, you know, even before COVID came, you know, we kind of researched the stuff. So I see it a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Like we kind of saw it coming, right? Did we?
I mean, yeah.
Before
COVID, we were talking about something was coming.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I agree with the part about COVID being about killing people off. I agree with, well, I don't agree. I think the vaccine was about kind of the same thing. And the reason it's able to do it is because we don't use it.
Okay.
Like we sitting ducks for real. For the most part, you know, as a whole. We relying on their little system, so they know that, so they put this stuff out to do what they want to do with it.
Right. Okay. So
and I go back to turpentine.
I can understand some of this. I can understand some of the stuff that you're saying, but I can't agree with everything that you're saying because I say that because when my grandmother caught COVID, it didn't kill her off right away. My mama caught it, and because with all of the issues that she had, and she died from it quickly. My grandmother actually, on the other hand, beat COVID, went to rehab, was in rehab from January up until February, well, close to March when she died, and she started. We were able to when we were able to go visit her. She was still kind of in her right mind, but kind of not. She kind of knew what was going on, but she kind of didn't. When she would be, prime example, we all went to visit and we took my grandmother some food and we sat outside and we ate, and she looked at me and she called me Sandra, which is my mama, you know, and she just kept calling me Sandra and Sandra, you know, over and over again. And her mind was still there because she knew who Sandra was, but her mind still wasn't there because it wasn't up to speed because she had been in the hospital and all this other stuff. So she really didn't know still kind of what happened while she was in the hospital. So COVID didn't kill her.
Before she was in the hospital, she had her right mind and stuff?
Yeah. She was still going to church. Like at 101. Yeah, she was in her right mind. I mean, she would, like some of the natural things, like, you know, loss of bladder, you know, because you couldn't control the bladder, you know, right. But some of that is natural. Right. But I say that to say this, is that I kind of understand what you're saying when it comes to some of these home remedies, or when it comes to some of this, you know, the herbs and stuff, that the natural stuff. I feel like that if my grandmother wasn't where she was at, you know, physically, I think that had she caught COVID, it would have killed her immediately, like it took my mother, you know. So it wasn't as when she got it, it wasn't as strong, or it didn't affect my grandmother. When my grandmother got it, it didn't affect her as more as it affect my mom.
That sounds like because we may be so far removed from.
Right, so that's what I was saying. Like what Raleigh was saying, I kind of feel that because of what she did all the way up into when she died, kind of actually put her, it protected her somewhat. So
you're saying it was more sorrow than cope?
I kind of feel that way, yeah. No, seriously.
I know I'm just saying. I'm trying to,
No, I can actually talk about it now.
It was more sorrow than the cope.
But yeah, I kind of feel that way. But then I say this too is why I don't believe everything that Raleigh was saying is because I feel like that me, right? Well, I ain't gonna say me. Well, I'm just gonna use me as an example, but not saying me. But me, if I didn't do all of these home remedies and stuff, and then I caught COVID, I wouldn't be able to now all of a sudden pick up and do all these home remedies and still fight. You know what I'm saying? And it cured it, or not cured it, but it fight it.
Did you catch COVID?
Yeah, he caught COVID.
No, you.
Did I? Nope.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. Never test positive. Everybody else around me tested positive. I never tested positive.
Do they smoke? Weird.
No. But I never tested positive.
It's weird, man.
But so everybody weird. Around me tested positive. Yep.
And they don't smoke. Shit weird, man.
What's weird? What's weird, man? Just spit it out. What's weird?
It's supposed to be a respiratory virus, but she smoke and they don't. We got nicotine receptors in our body. Nicotine. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
We're starting to learn that.
It's just weird.
Nicotine got something to do with it.
You know what's so funny though too is I'm pretty sure it's because we do smoke that our lungs have kind of, I ain't gonna say immune to certain things, but do y'all normally catch like a cold or like an upper respiratory infection?
No.
I do.
I mean, I had a cold.
I do. I got chronic bronchitis.
But do you take anything for it?
No, I let it run its course. Or I drink my teas to break that phlegm up.
Right. So I feel like that because you smoke, that I feel like your lungs when they do catch a certain thing like upper respiratory infection.
But we're told that it hurts our lungs. Now we finding out we have nicotine receptors in our body.
I mean, I knew that part.
I'm finding out that we have nicotine receptors in our bodies, in our organs, and on our neural pathways. So wouldn't nicotine strengthen those receptors inside of us to fight off?
No, man, you explained it wrong.
Am I explaining it wrong, Will?
See, we all right, so when this shit came out, it was all classified. What actually was happening was classified. So nobody really knew. All we could really do was assume and presume and guess and shit. But little by little it's coming out. So,
He's the research guy.
So it's like, oh man, I ain't trying to do that. It's deep. I just figured I'd ask you if you caught it, just to see for myself. But, that whole thing kind of corresponded. Because it seemed to me that it is corresponding. After the information come out, it's like you assess the shit, like, then it's like, wow, that could be possible. But then we talking about We talking about the vaccine. That's different than actual COVID. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go with the whole Venom thing. You know, that whole thing. But, yeah, whatever. I just figured out. Just see if it, you know. Because I ain't get sick either. So, I don't know how true all that shit is. The few people that I know that did get sick, they got sick in the hospital.
They got sick in the hospital?
Sicker in the hospital.
Yeah, they did.
What, you can testify to that too?
Yeah, they did. My mama was at home at my grandmother's house. Everybody had COVID. We for a whole week. You know, we were there with them every day. You know, they had their ups, they had their downs. But then my cousin came. And when my cousin came over, she was kind of nervous because she didn't know, you know, what to expect. Because she hadn't been sick with them. So she got scared and she called 911. So they came, ambulance came, and they took my grandmother. Well, while they were sitting there, they were like, oh my gosh, you know, she need to go and she need to go. So they called 2 more rescue squads. And so they took all 3 of them to the hospital. My mom, I was talking to my mom when she was at the hospital, and she seemed like she was getting better. And I say this all the time. She seemed like she was getting better. And she would still say, you know, still have times where she'd be like, I cannot breathe, you know. But for the most part, she was still talking, whatever the case may be. The doctor called and was like, her oxygen level is still not where it needs to be. So we are going to put her on a ventilator. So we said, okay. They put her on a ventilator. Within 24 hours after being on a ventilator, my mama wasn't talking. She was just texting. And this even happened with my sister. But she wasn't talking. She was texting. And then the next day, it was like, well, your mama's not going to make it. We need you guys to come on up here. We got up there, my mom had passed away. And this was 2 days after being on the ventilator. And mind you, she was talking. And so we come to find out that the ventilator was so strong.
Blew up her lungs.
It put a hole in the lungs. Caused her to have a heart attack. My sister, Christy, Jessica, the same way. Within 24 hours, she went on a ventilator. Within 24 hours, she was sending a text, and she was like, and she had just sent the text before they put on the ventilator. And she was saying, you know, she couldn't wait to get home and do all of this. They put on the ventilator. That night, she was texting. She says, I'm really tired. I'm super tired. Michelle said, well, Christy, well, you know, put your phone down and get some rest. And her mom said the same thing. Well, go ahead and rest. She rested and never woke up.
I think I said the same thing too, because I was keeping them in touch with it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
Said take a rest. And she took a rest and she never woke up. But I was just talking to my mom, like on the phone with my mom, before they put her on a ventilator. After they put her on a ventilator, my mama did not talk. And we were texting. And the air was so hard that it put a hole in her lungs. And it caused her to have a heart attack. And she died.
So is that COVID?
So, I feel like somewhat, yeah, but I feel like if she was at home, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say if she would still be alive if she was at home.
Well,
But
that's
I
what's so
feel
fucked
like
up about it. It's like
I feel like she struggled or she suffered more in the hospital those 2 days than she did at home with us for that week and a half to 2 weeks. And that was when she first caught it. And you know that's when you're supposed to be at your worst. You know, because it's supposed to be getting better after 2 weeks. I think she struggled more and she suffered more in the hospital than she did when she was at home. So I can't say that she would still be alive if she didn't go to the hospital. But what I can say is I don't think that she would have suffered as much as she did in the hospital.
I mean, so it's a lot of crazy stuff, man. to think about. But
so like, you know, cause I had to deal with it too, and like I say, you know, like this shit was, you know, I don't know if it was harder for people who was paying attention or for people who wasn't really doing the research. Cause it's like I experienced it, like I'm seeing it. This is after we already having our conversations about what's coming, and to see it coming and see it here and have some kind of understanding or, you know, assumptions about what's going on, and then to see it actually happen. I don't know if it's harder for me or for people that, you know, because, you know, I ain't believe none of this shit from the start. And the experiences that I've had, I blame it all on the hospital. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like I kind of knew your story before you told it, because it ain't the first time I heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't really know where to go with this conversation, because it's like, you know, you don't want to be insensitive. This real life shit. This people we love.
It is.
You know, people we love and care about. You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
I don't think you'd be insensitive if whatever you say. I don't think it would be insensitive.
It would have been considered insensitive at the time. You know.
Right.
As it's happening, like, you know, because me, myself, you know, and, you know, there's so many different aspects of it. That whole, yeah, we could admit the person, but nobody could come see it. I ain't never, you know, that was always bullshit to me. And it seemed like every time, it's always a case of they're getting better. Then all of a sudden, things ain't great. Y'all need to hurry up and get here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we, you know, then it's like, you know, where do you go from there? Like, I'm, you know, in my opinion,
it's where can you go from there?
I look at it like the Thanos thing. Period. Period. So, yeah.
But how do you make it better?
I don't want to cut nobody off, but I think that's a good point to interject. You said, how do you make it better? Let's go back to the herbs.
Yeah, because it's like you don't have to necessarily attack.
The dandelions.
Yeah.
So we got to get back.
You don't have to attack the hospital system or the system in general by
just get a better standard.
No, fuck them. I'm just saying you don't have to attack them. I'm always like fuck them, but I'm saying I don't have to attack them. You just pull yourself out of that shit and go back to like you saying, like, you know, Just fucking, I ain't dealing with that shit no more. Because that's kind of what we have to be. Once you understand, once you see that pattern, and you ain't getting no real information from, like, it was situations where they would be like, yeah, we ran some tests, we'll have the results tomorrow. And then you call them, or you wait for the results, they never call. You call them, we ain't get the results back yet. Then it'd be a couple more days. And it was like, that was the pattern, like.
Right.
Like they toying with niggas.
Right.
Like you have my family member there, I'm worried to death, and you just toying with me. Oh yeah, we ain't get the results back yet. We'll call you in a couple days. And then you get those results. You know what I'm saying? Like you was just describing. I seen it more than a few times. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it's just like niggas gotta come to terms with that shit. You know? So it ain't necessarily about attacking them, which they are. Fucked up, fuck all y'all niggas, but, you know, I don't have to attack them. I just, hopefully, you know, I pull myself out. People I care about, hopefully, they willing to listen, you know. Because, like you said, what's the solution? How you gonna make it better? And the hospitals can't be in the equation, because we see what they doing.
Or just big pharma, period. The whole industry.
Especially
CDC,
when we running into these whole, like the turpentine
WHO.
The reason we discussing turpentine is because I heard on whatever people talking about, a doctor talking about it, and opening my eyes to it.
I didn't see that. Oh no, you looked into it.
What, turpentine?
Yeah,
Daniels, yeah. I did. Actually.
So it's like,
what'd you think about it?
I didn't read all of the story, but for the most part, I think that I kind of feel like she was misunderstood. And I use misunderstood is because going back to what Raleigh was saying is...
You think she's misunderstood by who?
She was misunderstood.
By us or by
people in general. And the reason why she lost the license.
You said people in general. You talking about us or by the pharmaceutical people?
The pharmaceutical people, the people that was attacking her.
She misunderstood. That's what they want. Up out of there.
Well, yeah, I agree.
There's no misunderstanding. They understand what they're doing.
They did want her out of there. Yeah, some of them did. But I think a lot of people that are not, and this is going back to what Raleigh said, is that a lot of times when people are not informed, you know, and you don't have all the information, you know, you only, if you don't inform yourself, right, and that's what she was doing.
And that's what we doing right here on Muddy Water.
But if you don't inform yourself, or if you don't inform...
Like, share, and follow, by the way.
And if you don't inform yourself, and if you don't do the research on your own, then a lot of times what people are saying can scare you versus make you want to find out, you know what I'm saying, what else they're talking about and what can I do to help or what can I do to better myself. And I say that is to say, let's say for instance, I created something and I bring it to you and I say, all right, Sanchez, you know, you can take this and it can cure this, and this. You know, are you going to jump on it immediately? Or are you going to kind of be a little skeptical about it because you've seen, you know, that other things can?
If I see it work on you,
okay,
because she did it for herself,
right?
If I see it work on you, then I may try it,
right?
But see, that's the thing. Like I said, I don't want to seem like Raleigh said, I don't want to seem insensitive. But yeah, and still they put out, man, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Why? Let me ask this question. Why do you think we got away from it? Why do you think we knocked it? Why do we knock the old ways so much? Why do our generation and the young and the ones behind us, why do we knock the old ways now. We knock it so much.
Do you say? Can you honestly say we knock it, or do you? Or
I can say a lot of it do.
That we're not informed. It's not that we
knock it. You can't knock it if you don't know about it.
If you don't know about it, right? And I mean, once again, this goes back to a lot of stuff that we talked about the other day. Is that if you don't know about something, this was
my bad.
No, but at the same time, we need to get back to the knocking part. Like it's real, but I don't know if it's real in that case. Just overall, we're trained to
go away from it.
Well, we're trained to what's the word?
I won't say we've trained to go away from it. I say that we were trained to evolve with the world.
We're trained to respect, endear technology.
Right. So you're evolving with the world, right?
Yeah, they push the whole newer and better.
Right.
Newer and better.
Is it newer? Is it better though?
No, that's what we finding out, nigga. That's the point. So it's not that we knock it; it's we don't know no better. We're trained to move forward. Like they tell us that moving forward is doing the shit that we doing now.
But then they give you little bits and pieces of it. You see what I'm saying? They get, like we said before, they throw a little truth in there.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, how can I say this? I mean, it's just like I asked a question a minute ago. I Googled it about how did the ancient people preserve food. To survive, our early ancestors had to find a way to make that food last through the cold months. In frozen climates, they froze meat on the ice. In tropical climates, they dried food in the sun.
They dried food, they dug up.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
they dug up dirt and they put food in the hole and covered it up because it's cool underground.
They kind of give us that now. Like, we just bought an oven that's got a dehydrate on it. We just bought an oven that's got a dehydrate on it, so I've been trying to dehydrate like the remnants of my juicing. When I juice, I take the remnants,
the pulp and all that,
and put it in the dehydrator,
grind that shit up,
and try to dry it and try to dry it out to use it later for seasoning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why did we get away from a lot of stuff that?
And now they reintroducing it like it's a new shit.
Like it's a new shit, but it's not new. They've been doing it.
But how they reintroducing it? This could be this can go a whole another way. Yeah. But how they reintroducing it still is not the same as how they did it back in the day.
Right. Now it's
because you just bought a microwave or an oven that does this for you, right?
Right.
How long does it take?
You're right. I was getting ready to say that. Man, they talking about like hours on top of like 10, 15 hours. Because I looked it up. How long does it take for it to do it in the oven?
When they were doing this back in the day, it took days. Right. You know?
Oh, okay,
and so when you're doing this now, everything, this is why when Malik was saying that, and I was saying we're evolving with the world. They're trying to get us to evolve with the world. And because everything is instant now. But what does it take? Right. What does it take to get to the instant?
Which makes us...
You got radioactive stuff, which, once again, that can be a whole new topic. But they got radioactive stuff, your microwave. We'll throw something in the microwave real quick and keep on going. Because it heats our food up really quickly.
And it also makes us careless. Mm-hmm. Wasteful. It makes us wasteful. You see what I'm saying? Back in the day, I'm sure they wasn't wasteful. They was rationing out stuff and everything. It wasn't no wasting.
Right, because it took time to get to that point.
Yeah,
if it takes time to get to a certain point, then no, I'm not gonna waste it because it took it took a while to get there. But everything is it's instant. And like I said, you can have so many topics about that because once again, the microwave is radioactive, and you can't put foil paper in the microwave because what does it do? All of those radioactive things shoot off shoot, and it fires back at them. It fires back at them, which causes the microwave to what? Explode. So everything when you instant-fry something, it could cause something else. You know what I'm saying? And I've actually read and about how people feel like that, using the microwave causes cancer. Whoa. I've read that. Whoa. Because all of the radioactive stuff and it's going into your food, it could cause cancer. When they go take an X-ray, they
all contribute to the same shit.
Right. So you can have so many different topics, with that, but when you instant-fry stuff or when you try to make it quicker, it causes a lot of issues. And going back to what we were like really talking about is the fact that they did these things, and I know a lot of these I know a lot of these remedies. I know a lot of this stuff because of my grandmother. Mm-hmm. I was taught by my grandmother, and so some of the things that I could go back and do, when my kids get sick, I can go back and do, some of them things that I was taught. Right. But a lot of these people, they're not taught. They don't know. They're not informed.
Do you think if
you need to do a book, a remedy book?
You think if your grandmother had people her age around her,
I get it.
She would have been as easy to convince to do certain shit? Because that's another part of it. It's like you said, she kind of felt like she was alone. Mm-hmm.
I feel like if she had more people around her that were her age, that she would still be kicking, that she would still be moving, she would still be informed. Because even
informed,
she would still be informing.
She dealing with this shit from what she knows, but she don't have nobody to bounce the ideas off of because nobody else could relate. So if she had people around her age that experienced the same shit she did, they would be able to confirm what she already knows. Right. As opposed to she by herself. But so people that don't know necessarily kind of, trump.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, this is just a better way to do it.
Like, these dummies.
Right. But
oh my gosh.
It never did stop her from informing us.
Right.
Even with my kids, which would have been her, her great.
But after y'all left, there ain't no telling. She probably frustrated. I don't know what. Like,
She might have been, but she.
I'm trying to lighten the mood.
But she informed us, though, and
right.
I don't think that she let the fact that she was here alone stop her from, caring about us. I think that it was her care about us.
Do a remedy book of your grandmother's old remedy that you remember. Do it. Real talk. Real talk, man. Every dope.
Because I honestly think that the reason why, she cared about us, and her care kept us informed. And I feel like it's a lot of people out here that knows some of these remedies that they were taught by their grandmothers and stuff, but because they don't care. I can know so much stuff. I can know so much stuff that can help you. But if I didn't give a damn, I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, that's another reason to do the book. Because you care and you know.
So let me ask you a question. Right now, right here, once again, like, share, follow. Hit the like button when we put this out. So right now, us having this conversation, how does that make you feel? Because we just talked about your grandmother not having somebody that they can relate to. Mm-hmm. How do you feel having this conversation with us about all the things we're talking about? If you can briefly explain that. Do you feel, are you happy you came and did this conversation with us?
Yeah, I'm happy that I did this conversation. I am. I can say that a lot of things I do feel a lot better. It's because a lot of things that I was able to talk about and kind of get it off my chest, and the more, and it might sound crazy, but a year ago I wouldn't have been able to have these conversations. But the more I talk about it, the better I feel, and then I can talk about, the next time I talk about, this, I can talk about it even more. A lot of stuff that I still didn't talk about, because a lot of stuff still hurts. But I do feel like as time goes on, doing stuff like this or talking to people like this, we talk all the time.
Right.
And the more we talk, the more I feel better about something. And for yourself, when we first, when I first talked about my grandmother or my mama, how I had tears in my eyes, I don't have it. Because I'm at that point that I can talk about this and feel good.
And my mother passed before all of this. I'm kind of glad I wish she was here, but I'm kind of glad she didn't have to go through it.
Mm-hmm. Right. But then you think to yourself and be like, okay, yeah, that might sound a little bad, but then in the same sense, it's not. It's not. I know my mama was struggling. I know she was suffering, but I hate that it took 2 days after they put her on the ventilator. I hate that it took 2 days for her to go because she was struggling even more. But she's in a better place. She's in a better place. She's no longer struggling. She's no longer suffering with all of the other things that was going on with her.
Right.
And so, I mean, I do feel better. I do feel good about, our conversations. Do I feel like it will change the world right now? No, I don't.
You feel like what? What will change the world?
Some of the things, right? The conversation, some of the things that we talked about. Do I feel like will it change the world right now?
Right now?
No, I don't feel like it'll change the world right now.
We ain't talking about right now, though.
But I feel like
maybe later on.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
When somebody
I don't feel like it would change the world right now.
Fuck that now.
But let's see, there you go again with the instant stuff. Everything is not going to be instant.
Take microwave, man.
It's about necessary.
Put it in the oven.
It's not necessary now.
But all you can do right now is, once again, all you can do is inform somebody. And you just inform them.
I agree with both of them.
You just inform them.
Honestly, on that, I agree with both of them.
I can listen to something.
I won't now, but I understand what you're saying too.
Right.
It may have to be later.
You're not going to save
for some.
You're not going to save the world right now. You can say it.
Some,
can be.
You can save a certain
group. It can
group.
be. Somebody can look at this and be like, boom, you know what?
I'm changing right now.
There
you go.
But that's your one person out of the world.
It ain't necessarily about changing right now. It's about being informed and preparing yourself for later.
So that's why I said what I said. You're not going to change the world right now.
I'm saying if you inform them now to where they understand it, when the next one come up, motherfuckers know how to handle it.
Right.
But you got to know now.
Right. And that's what I was getting at. Are you changing the world now? No, but are you informing people? Yes. And it's a difference with changing the world right now and informing.
You get it?
I can change.
Okay, that's all we need to know. We just get it.
All right. I can inform you all day long. Every day, 24 hours a day. I can inform you all day long. But if you're not willing to make that change, then guess what? I have not changed you yet. And I can't change anybody. I can inform you all day long.
What? That's why I asked you what kind of news you watch. Because they saying the opposite of what we saying.
Okay, so they feel like what? That they changing people?
They're the ones telling people to go to the hospital and get on the ventilator.
Okay.
So if the ventilators was hurting people, how that work?
But you want to know that a lot of people live off the news.
I don't give a fuck.
And
like,
not just that is that if you've been listening to the news all your life and
turn that shit off.
the media influence is so much.
Did you put those things together prior to this conversation about the whole ventilator, the similarities and shit?
Yeah, prior to this conversation. Yeah.
So
because I have already been thinking about it. Did
you hear somebody confirm it for you?
The doctors told us that it put a hole in the chest.
Confirm the similarities in the situation. Like I was able to tell you what happened before you even said what happened.
Yeah, I've heard it on the news. I've heard it on the news that people are talking about the ventilators and putting holes in the lungs, or making the lungs explode. I've heard that already. Yeah.
So why keep using it? Because there's only been hold on.
After it happened.
Okay, but they still using it. But there's only been, I think you read this too, but somebody else said it, and Daniel said it. There's only been one case of turpentine killing a person, and it was a 15-year-old child who accidentally took too much, and they wiped it off the shelf.
Man, fuck all that.
I'm just saying, man. So, but you still use the ventilators, and it's known that it's. I don't get it.
You say change the world.
I'm gonna tell you why. It's because these people put so much trust into a doctor.
Who's these people? Are we talking for ourselves or other people?
Other people.
You don't put trust in the doctor?
I go to the doctor, and I do put some trust in the doctor, but I don't put a lot of trust in the doctor. I don't put. If you're coming to me and you're telling me that I need to take all of this medication, I'm going to read up on this medication.
So if I break my ankle, I'm going to the doctor. I don't care what you say.
If some other shit was to come and you see similar results, similar symptoms as COVID, are you going to let them take you to the hospital?
You know what?
Knowing what you know?
The funny thing is a lot of times it's no longer, when it gets to a certain point, it's no longer my decision anymore. And I say this is because my auntie experienced dementia with COVID, and she was in and out. So when my cousin came over, my auntie wasn't in her right mind, and so when my cousin said take her to the hospital, and my auntie was talking all off the wall, they did exactly what my cousin told them to do. So it was no longer her choice whether she wanted to go or not. She was going because she wasn't in her right mind, and they were now speaking to somebody else that was in her right mind. And at that point, my cousin wasn't with us for those 2 weeks, and so once again she didn't understand, or she didn't see what we were going through, and then it was up and down.
Well, the story you said about when they came to get, I think you said your grandmother.
Yeah, they came to get
my. And it was like, well, she need to go, and she need to go.
And they called and they took them. So we were no longer, we wasn't there. Well, they were just my cousin.
Well, I understand. What I'm saying is, if it happens again, is that going to be allowed to happen? What? Y'all just going to go with them like they say go?
You know what? I can't answer that right now.
Well, that's my question. Like, you talking about changing the world, informing and all that. We're not learning from our mistakes.
Okay, I can't say, I'm not saying that we're not learning from our mistakes, and I can't say that everything that we did was a mistake, but what I can say is that we never know what we're going to be thinking or how we're going to react when that situation comes.
Well, I think
and I can say right now, because I'm not in that situation, I can say right now that, you know what, if this happens again, no, I'm not going to the hospital. Or if I go to the hospital, no, I'm not being put on no ventilator, because I seen what it done to my mama. So no, I am not doing that.
Right.
I can say that right now. But I don't know. I'm not in that situation right now. So I don't know what type of mindset I'm going to be in if that comes back around. But I can tell you that I don't want to go. I don't like going to the hospital now. That's my husband, if I have to go to the hospital right now, it's because I am to the point where I don't know what to do. Right. My doctor, when my grandmother died, I was getting ready to go to her funeral. It was the day of her funeral. I was getting ready and I was going to her funeral. My doctor called and left 3 messages on my phone, and I seen the doctor's office, and I listened to the messages, and it told me that I need to get up and I need to go to the hospital. I wasn't going because I don't like the hospital and I hate being there. So I wasn't going because I am a really bad anemia, and my iron and my blood count was so low that
He was
had I
calling
went
back
to
about
sleep,
some tests. He was calling back about some tests.
Had I went to sleep, it was a good chance that I wouldn't have woke up. That's how low. You're supposed to be at a 15, and I was at a 2 out of 15.
They went got the turmeric.
But I wasn't going. I wasn't going because I seen what the hospital did to my mama. And so I wasn't going. My doctor called me from her personal cell phone and was like, go to the hospital. Or I'm calling around to your husband, to everybody that's on your contact list. And I know my doctor personally.
The same doctor your mother-in-law?
No. Well, my mother did. My mother did. My grandmother no. But I finally went, and I missed my grandmother's funeral, but I stayed in there for a whole week.
What did your doctor have to say about what happened to your mother?
We really hadn't talked about that on that level, and I don't ask her questions about it, and I don't talk to her about it. I kind of want her input. I want to know what she thinks about it, but at the same sense, I don't want to put her in a difficult position. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of difficult position?
Because that's her profession.
Step off for me.
So you mean to tell me
that's her profession, but then she's a friend, and if that's how you supporting your kids,
but we talking about your mother though. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, we talking about my mom, but in the same sense, once again, I don't want to put her in a difficult position. You know what I'm saying? If maybe on down the road I can sit there and be like, maybe I might see her in Chick-fil-A or something, we sitting there talking, and I'd be like, so just off the books, how do you feel about this? Or how do you feel about that? But I haven't really ever talked to her about it. And I
think that's pretty big.
Huh?
I think that's pretty huge. Because I experienced that too. Where it's not even my family member who's going through it, but I'm fucking irate. I'm telling the doctors like, yo, what the fuck you mean we can't come see her? But the people who's actually related to her are like, don't be, just calm down. Why the fuck am I upset and y'all calm?
Right.
And this is your family member that's in the hospital.
Right.
So that whole thing where I don't wanna, that's why they allowed to do this shit.
Right. But do you think you felt that way is because you actually know what you know and they don't know what they know?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I support and talk about it. So it don't happen again. Because if we even at this point are still like, I don't wanna, then it's gonna happen again. And the next time we ask for it, you can say I didn't know before, but now it's like the reason you don't know is because I don't wanna.
Right, but I feel like this. Because I know my doctor on that level,
What do you think she'll say if you did ask her?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I don't know, but I feel like this though. I feel like that.
So there's a reason for them. I don't. What's that about? You say because it's her livelihood, but beyond that, what is it about?
It's her livelihood, yes, but it is. It might be some things that she say to me that I don't want to hear.
Like what?
You know, it might be some things that she say that I don't want to hear, as far as, you know, how she feel that really killed my mom, you know,
and I understand,
or even
like
having to go down that, and I honestly feel like maybe if it wasn't my mama, you know,
you would be willing to ask.
I would be willing,
right?
But because it's my mama,
I understand. I get it.
You know, that's why they takes it to a whole new level. You know.
Yeah, there's certain things you not prepared. You don't really feel like you're prepared to hear.
Right. Right.
But put that in another situation. Say you took your car to a mechanic, and the mechanic you take it in for a fucking tune-up, and he say, and you drove fine. But when you go pick your car, he like, well, your car died. How you gonna react to that?
I'm gonna go back to the same mechanic.
And do what?
I need to know what's going on with my car. Why is it dead?
So you willing to push the issue about a car?
Mm-hmm. But she's not the one that killed my mom.
That's different.
When I'm talking to her,
the reason you don't want to ask is the same reason.
I'm only hearing her opinion about it.
Yeah, but the reason you don't want to ask is because of that. The same thing, right? I'm scared of what I'm gonna hear.
Yeah, I am scared of what I'm hearing.
It's the same thing.
But once again, is now the people that I felt like that did kill my mama. Me and my sisters both. You know, all of us were the ones that was sitting in there, you know, in front of the doctor, talking to the doctor about what happened. You know, that's how we found out that, you know, the ventilator put a hole in the lungs. And now we're like, well, why was it so high? You know, but now those are the questions that now we're asking them, you know.
Is that still the same question you asking?
But why is it so high? Why was it? Yeah, why?
Now that you know that this same scenario happening along, I experienced the same shit. Mm-hmm. Same scenario. Ventilators blowing up on us.
Right.
So now that you know that it ain't just you, it ain't just y'all, but that seemed to be the pattern. Like, what questions do we ask now?
I still want to know why is this doing this to me?
That's the question I want to hear. That's the question I need to be asked. It's not just about my situation, what happened with my mother. It's like, yo, this is happening a lot. What the fuck is really going on?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like with your car, what the fuck you mean my car dead?
Right.
Like, that same energy. Like.
Right, but I'm not gonna give that same energy to a mechanic that didn't have my car the first time. So you was my mechanic, you know, and Sanchez is a mechanic, but then you was the one that I picked my car up from.
Well, not necessarily.
And then it was dead.
But like you say, you talked to the other doctor,
right.
The doctor that was actually involved.
Right. I'm not gonna give Sanchez that same energy when I take him to.
Well, that doctor needs to hear those questions. What the fuck is going on?
Right.
Like, I'm hearing this same story from a bunch of people. Like, it's not a fucking coincidence.
Right.
So what the fuck is really going? Like, it ain't necessarily about going at them like that. For ourselves, like we were saying, you don't have to attack them. It's just like, yo, I ain't fucking with y'all. Mm-hmm. I can't fuck with you. Why would I fuck with you?
Right.
Like, I see what you're doing. And then once it's like, why would I fuck with you? It's like, at that point, it's like, if I ain't gonna be fucking with them, how am I gonna take care of myself? Then to get back to the other shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't about attacking them, it's about protecting yourself.
Right. But
You know what I'm saying?
it's always about protecting yourself.
And that go with the news. That go with all this shit, man. They all lying, man. They all trying to kill us.
I do feel some things that they do say in the news is all bullshit, you know. But a lot of things that I do hear in the news, you know, it makes me. It's funny. It's because I might feel like what you're saying in the news is bullshit, but however, what you're saying in the news just informed me to do my own research.
Right.
And a lot of times not a lot of times, people can do that. People can, what they hear on the news.
People don't have to do that.
Can take it, right, and take it and do their own research about
Do
it.
people do that?
But I think where people, no, they don't do that. But I think what makes people, some people, and I'm not going to say all people, but I think what makes people not do that is because they don't know where to start.
Hey, well, I mean,
you know, you got to know where to start. If I don't know where to start when I'm getting ready to do something, I don't know where to start. Oh, well, then it wasn't for me to do then. So
yeah, well, that's kind of
of
another reason that we do this shit, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure if people who in a similar situation to you see this, they'll be able to answer some of the questions. Like, you know, that's kind of what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's a great point you just made. You know
Great point. All right. I ain't want to cut y'all off, but I got a family to go to, so hopefully we can expound on this another day if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Yeah, we can expound on it another day. When we put this out, we'll all look at it, and maybe we'll find some gems in it that we can come back and do it again another day and expound on whatever we need to expound on. But y'all can barely see us because you can't see nothing on me. But y'all like, share, follow. See the shirt? Yeah, you see, that's all you see is the white. But y'all like, share, follow. We appreciate Miss Felicia coming through and having this conversation with us.
Bye, Felicia.
Don't do it.
All right, man. Peace.